Друзі, вітаю вас і знову інтерв'ю. І сьогодні у нас у гостях дуже відомий, дуже талановитий вчитель губної гармоніки, музикант Ліамом Вордом. Hi, Ліам.
Hi.
Hi, Liam.
Окей. Я пропоную почати. Let's go. Перше запитання. I speak in Ukrainian, Andrew translate, окей? Перше запитання. Яким був твій шлях до губної гармоніки? Чому саме гармоніка? Яку роль відіграв Боб Ділан? Ти навчався самостійно чи брав якісь уроки? Коли ти усвідомив, що це не просто захоплення, а стало професією, як спосіб життя? Ну і, звісно, яка гармоніка була першою, яку б ти порадив початківцям? Thank you.
Okay, so first question from our audience, from us. How did you get into harmonica playing? Why the harmonica? What role did Bob Dylan and also Ніла Янга played when you started playing? Did you learn to play by yourself? When did you realize that this could be more than just a hobby, but your main profession and the way of life? What was your first harmonica and what would you recommend for a beginner?
Okay, great. I'll try and answer all of that. If I forget something, I apologize. But I was a teenager, so I think I was 17 when I first picked up a harmonica, but I'd grown up listening to my parents' record collection. So my parents had both Bob Dylan and Neil Young on records, and I would hear that stuff around the house. So from a young age, harmonica was an instrument that I was hearing a lot. And so it was kind of in my mind, and I'd always enjoyed it, but I'd never really taken an instrument seriously as a kid. I'd had to do a bit of music at school, and I just didn't like the way it was taught. I didn't really take to any instrument. I had drum kit lessons. I did play a bit of drums at school, but I never really got into it. I didn't connect with it. And then my mum got me this teach yourself sort of harmonica book, a beginner's harmonica book that came with a free harmonica or harmonica included with the book for my 18th birthday. So I was pretty late to the party, and I tried teaching myself with this book, but then she...
How old now? How old are you now?
So I am 37. I had to think about that. So it's almost 20 years.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I had to think then. I must be getting old. So as well as the book, she got me some lessons with this local guy called Metta Volleta, who's a really good Irish harmonica player, plays a lot of Irish stuff, and he plays whistles and flutes as well, the Irish stuff, and he also plays blues. But I had some lessons with him, and it just immediately made sense to me, or maybe not made sense, it just appealed to me in a way that other instruments hadn't, and I was kind of like, oh, actually, this is something I could really get into, and luckily Matt was a good teacher, and Matt was very encouraging as well. So I kind of hit the ground running just in terms of my enthusiasm for the instrument, and I wanted to play like Bob Dylan. I'm sad to say. I mean, I still have a soft spot for Bob Dylan, and I know he gets so much hate in the harmonica world, but I think he's introduced so many harmonica players, or so many people to the harmonica. And I think he's a great songwriter, and some of his solos are not 100% awful. So you know, I've got a soft spot for him, and I wanted to play like him. But Matt, my teacher, said, you really want to get into blues music, and he gave me some CDs to listen to, and I listened to these, and I kind of went, oh, this is the good stuff. And just never looked back, just kept on wanting to learn about this instrument, keep on playing it. And I got onto YouTube, which at the time was a relatively new thing, and the only people I saw on YouTube were Adam Gusseau and Christelle Berton, French harmonica player, and they were doing some great stuff, and they were the players that I was then looking up to and listening to and trying to learn from. I didn't know that Ronnie Shellist was already on YouTube. For some reason, the algorithm or whatever, his videos didn't come up. I found him later, along with other people. And then the part you asked, when did I realise it could maybe be a way of life? That I have to give the credit to my wife. So my girlfriend at the time, my now wife, we've been married for 10 years now, but at the time we hadn't been together long, and I was working in an elderly home. I was working as a care worker, doing long shifts for minimum wage, and then I was gigging and I was teaching as well on the side. And she just said, just do the music. It's what you want to do. It's what you're passionate about. You're not passionate about care work or elderly homes, you know. And she said to me, do it. And so I went, okay, you know, and that was the sort of the little boost of confidence, I think, that I needed in order to go that, you know, full time in music.
Thank you. Так дивно, що ми нещодавно розмовляли з Адамом Гассел, і Ліам його згадує, це прикольно.
So, yeah, just can I tell Liam that? So we it happened that today we did 2 interviews with you and with Adam Gasso. So you mentioned him, and we are so many good emotions right now about him, and he's so cool. So
It was cool, yeah.
Hi to you from him as well.
Yeah, Adam was, you know, he was the first guy I saw on YouTube, and he really inspired me. I love his storytelling. I think he's so passionate.
Тоді ми не будемо відкладати і задамо питання ще від одного нашого друга України, від Джейсона Річі. Шановний пан Ворде, чи маєте ви прагнення стати ще гастролюючим гармоністом, водночас з тим, що ви ютуб-блогер і педагог, да? Вчитель, да. Ну, якщо ні, то чому? Да.
Okay. So, right on, we have a question from our friend of Ukrainian harmonica community, Jason Ricci. He's a good friend of us, and question from him: Dear Mr. Ward, do you have aspirations to be touring harmonica player as well as YouTuber and educator? If not, why?
Yeah, it's something that I always feel that I've got these 2 different hats, or these 2 different identities that are going on. So if I'm known at all in the small world of harmonica as a teacher, really, but I spend more time writing music, recording music, doing session work, gigging. So I kind of more of my time is spent with the performer and the musician identity. But in terms of my online presence, it tends to be my school, my YouTube channel where I'm teaching. The reason I got into music was because I love the instrument. I love the expressive capabilities it has, and for me that comes out both as a performer and in my passion for trying to help people play the instrument. I've definitely struggled over the years with my sense of identity. Am I a player? Am I a teacher? And I suppose I've settled into a place where I kind of know I do both, and I don't claim to be the best player in the world or the best teacher in the world, but I hope that I offer something in both of those realms. In terms of the touring side of it, I've gigged pretty heavily around the UK for many years. I did several years where I was doing, 200 gigs a year, and it was pretty tiring. And these days I'm married. I don't have kids, but I'm married. I like to have a good home life, so I like to get home as much as possible. And it's a tough life on the road, as Jason knows. He's done it plenty, and it's, I think even harder work in the US. I'd happily do more stuff abroad if the right opportunities came up. I played the World Harmonica Festival recently. That was great fun, and met and saw a lot of harmonica players that I really enjoy, and friends of mine as well. And I've done other bits and bobs abroad. But yeah, I'd love to get out to more festivals and do more stuff like that. It's just the time has to be right, and the the situation has to be right. I feel like there are so many amazing musicians of all ages who tour, but for me, every year it gets harder to go out and do the late nights and the late drives and the crap accommodation and no bed and all of that stuff. So yeah, I'm glad Jason asked that, and I don't really know if I've answered him, but that's what I've got to say.
Very nice. Liam, do you play another instruments, musician?
Yeah, I know.
I know bottle.
Yeah, so I do lots of I call them novelty noises. So I've kind of become the novelty noise man. So I'll see what I've got to hand here. I've got the jug. This is a plastic one, but you can also play the old style ceramic ones, which I've got some down here, and glass ones work as well. So I played for many years. I toured with a jug band, so playing 1920s and 30s jug band music. So this would be our bass.
Sure.
All of that. I also play musical saw very badly. I've got one here, but it's in its case. You'll have to trust me. This is a saw, and it's just like a standard saw that you'd use for DIY for sawing wood, but it's more flexible. So if you can shake it and it wobbles a lot more, because you need to be able to bend it quite a lot to get a sound, and it's a lot of strain on your arm. So I do things like that. So, and I play a bit of percussion, so spoons and bones, which are literally made of bone. I've got some here. So these are bones. So they have a clacky sound. They're great for Irish music.
Oh, cool.
So they're just a rhythm instrument, like the spoons. They serve a similar purpose.
It's a funky sound.
Excuse me.
Nice.
Yeah, they're cool. It's getting used to that hand movement. I mean, I'm not an expert, but I'm just sort of learning to play them.
It's like a skiffle, like early Beatles. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I also play the washboard, which is used in skiffle music a lot. So, so here's my washboard with all of my...
yeah.
Yeah, no.
It's very nice.
all of that.
So cool.
So yeah, I mean, the way I say it is the harmonica's the closest thing I get to playing a real instrument, and then the rest is all of that stuff. I sing as well. Now, again, I wouldn't call myself a great singer, but as a harmonica player, it's hard to get work if you don't sing. They don't want you in the band if you don't play something else, or do something else. So I've ended up singing a lot as well.
It's interesting. I have a student from Ukraine because of war, fly to Britain, and we're learning online. And Kostya, I see Lіамом Вордом in the city. I don't know, don't remember. And he recording on telephone. Very nice, because it's a few little people and so energy. Thank you very much, because of you are real musicians. Not only teacher. And two questions. Твій канал harmonica.com вже багато років один з найпопулярніших для вивчення гармоніки. Як прийшла ідея навчати і ну, чому саме така форма, да? Тобто уроки Ютубом?
Okay. I have another question about your beautiful channel, which helped me, which helped a lot of people, and thank you so much for that. Really big one. Your channel, learntheharmonica.com, by the way, subscribe, has been one of the most popular channels for learning the harmonica for many years. How did you come up with it, with the idea of teaching itself? Which lessons or series do you find most useful for students? Why? And what is the most difficult thing for you in teaching online?
Yeah, thank you very much. The YouTube thing kind of happened by accident. It happened organically, and I have to say, I'm a terrible businessman. So, you know, I didn't start out with a business plan. I didn't say these are going to be the steps I'm going to take to get where I want to get. I basically, when I decided, or when I took the plunge to become a full-time musician, my thought was, how the hell do I make money? What do I do? So I tried to cast the net wide and just try everything. So I was trying to get gigs. I was playing with like 10 bands. I was, you know, it was hard work. I was teaching a lot, one-on-one, both in person and then online. It was Skype back then. It was kind of before Zoom took over. And I was teaching people all hours of the day, because they could be in Ukraine, or they could be in the USA. They could be in India or Australia. So I was getting up early in the morning, and then I was staying up late at night because of the time difference everywhere. But I was also trying other things. I was trying to kind of put stuff online. I was trying to build a website to say I'm a harmonica player, really. Not really a teacher at the time. I was just trying to say I'm Liam and I'm a harmonica player. And the YouTube channel, I was really just trying to get my name out there. And I think it was more that I wanted people to see that I could play an instrument. And then I thought maybe they'll get me in their band, or they'll employ me to go to the studio and record, or some, I don't know. It was this very vague idea. It wasn't, I'm going to become a teacher. It was not, I'm going to have an online school. It was not that was going to be a platform. It was just, I'll put some stuff out there. And YouTube at that point, I think I got lucky because I was just early enough, although it wasn't a new thing by the time I was on there. I was still early enough, I think, to be, there weren't that many people putting harmonica lessons up. So I was amongst a small crowd. There's more now, but there weren't as many of us. And so people watched the videos and they seemed to enjoy them. And I kind of got into a rhythm. And one thing I am is reliable, and I will, if I set my mind to do something, I'll do it. So I just said, I'll just put a lesson up each week. And I did that for many, many years. I did a lesson every week. And so I was kind of like clockwork. You know, you'd know for many years I was the only person putting these out regularly every single week, you know. So I just kept going with it. And in terms of the lessons and connecting with students and what the difficulties are, I mean, I love teaching songs because I have a wide interest in different styles of music, and I love all sorts of music. And so if I'm going to sit and work out how to play a song, which is one of my favorite things to do, is just how do you play that? It doesn't have to be a harmonica song, it could be a pop song, whatever. If I'm going to work it out, I may as well write down the tab, and then I may as well teach it to someone, because why not? You know, we're all here to help each other. So I do a lot of play along videos, and then also videos where I'm teaching songs. The difficulty is that you can't get the back and forth. You can't hear what someone's doing. the other side of the world. So you can't give them direct feedback. And it's hard sometimes with people's comments and questions to understand exactly what it is they're trying to understand or what they're asking you. And that's why in my online school now I have a forum where people can post videos and audio and I can actually hear them. Because that's the one thing with YouTube. It's kind of a one-way thing.
Друзі, дозволю собі таку штуку сказати, що ніколи цього не казав, але думаю, що одного разу можна сказати, що підписуйтесь, будь ласка, звісно, на канал Ліама і на наш канал Harp. Ми плануємо зробити ще один канал, тому, будь ласка, слідкуйте за нами. І я хотів би трошки уточнити з приводу того, що фідбеку. Що найкраще, я так розумію, що у Ліама є фідбек, найкраще дає якусь користь, тобто, які з онлайн уроків приносять більшу користь, на думку Ліама. Тому що я всім пропоную подивитися, це дуже класна форма. Ліст з табами, і Ліам розповідає, як це грати попорядково. Це дуже прикольно. Навіть хто там, хтось такий рівень зіграв і там все швидко, але це дуже для початківців гарно. Тому ще раз, моє запитання, що приносить більший фідбек від онлайн-учнів? Thank you.
Це більше про YouTube канал, да? So this is about your YouTube channel and in terms of what gives more feedback. So you have this type of lessons that have that are short, that are just music and tabs. So what gives more feedback? When you are visible and you teach like just through a video, or when it's just short videos and music with tabs?
I think people really like the visible thing, and I think they like me talking through things. The difficulty for me is it takes more time and more planning to create one of those videos. And I don't make money from the videos, so it's kind of, I need to find the time to do it. And the play along, just the tabs on the screen, I can do that very quickly. I can put them out very quickly. And I do think there's an advantage in a sense to those play along videos, because you don't have to listen and understand what I'm saying. Now YouTube's a lot better with subtitles and translations now, but I have a certain accent that not everyone can understand. I don't speak like the Queen. I'm from the north of England, and some people struggle with my accent if English isn't their first language. So I think there's an advantage.
Liam, where are you from in Britain?
I'm from the northwest, so I grew up in Manchester and in Cheshire, which is in the northwest of England. So my accent
your butt's amazing. But it's so nice. I see now program your television. It's a name 8 out of 10 cats does countdown, and so Manchester. But it's very nice, so cool.
Yeah. The other one, which you obviously hear with harmonica, is I would naturally say tongue. So tongue for tongue blocking, but it's a very tongue. But it's kind of softened over the years, so I kind of say tongue blocking now. But if you'd met me when I was a child, I'd be more difficult to understand, because my accent was thicker, was stronger. So yeah, there is an advantage of just being able to see it on the screen, maybe if people don't speak English. But I think they like people buy into
Добре, Андрію? Андрій, все добре? Тебе не чутно. Мікрофон.
I'm sorry, internet was gone for just a minute. I was scared.
Liam, I'm sorry because Andrew from Kiev, I am from Kharkiv, and we have a little problem with war. Sorry.
Okay, so I don't know if recording will remain before, but now it's recording.
Okay, never mind.
So it will be a gamble.
Okay.
I think.
Shall I answer the overblow question then?
About overblows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think the most important thing with both bending and overblows is that you've got a reference note. So what I mean is something that you're listening to that tells you what the note you're aiming for is. Now, that sounds obvious, I think, but these days with apps, with computer programs, often what people are using is a visual reference. Now, your eyes are useless with music. They're not going to make any noise. They're not going to tell you if a note is right or not. You have to use your ears. So you need to have a reference point that you can hear to know if the note you're getting is right or wrong. And even just bending is a lifelong practice. You have to keep practicing it. It's a skill that will deteriorate like a muscle if you're not working on it. So you have to be working on that muscle memory all the time. I mean, overblows are especially difficult, as you know. You have to have your harmonica set up properly to make it easier, much easier if it's set up well. Don't use a Lee Oscar harmonica because they'll just squeal at you. And if you don't know what you're doing to set it up, talk to someone who knows how to do the simple things to make it easier. The overblow process is an interesting one because you're choking one of the reeds and getting the other reed to play. So if you split the process up into playing the initial note, choking that note, and then kind of pushing through and getting the overblow note, then it's easier to process, to think about, and to analyze what you're doing. I do have, I've done YouTube videos on them, and it's all of the information's out there, but don't think of it as a big thing. I think these days it's more widely used and it's less scary, but certainly in the past it's been this scary thing for people, and they've thought, surely I can't do that. It was made out to be this big thing. A lot of people can do it now. Don't overthink it. Look at the methods. There's lots of good, lessons out there.
Thank you. Which harmonica better for starting overblow from box?
Out of the box, which is good one.
Oh.
Yeah, I think a lot of the modern mid-range, like mid-price to higher price harmonicas, a lot of them overblow really well now. And that's because the companies have responded to the fact that they know more and more players are overblowing. But there's kind of a minimum, if you're not spending that little bit more, it's going to be more difficult. The absolute cheapest harmonicas there are, they're going to be difficult to overblow. But I would call, like, this is a Hohner Special 20, and I recommend this for beginners because it's a decent harp, it's a good harp, but it's not the most expensive, which you don't need to be spending a huge amount of money when you first buy a harmonica. I still play Special 20s a lot these days. I like them. This harmonica or its equivalent from Seidel or Suzuki will overblow within reason, with a decent overblow. I haven't set this up, but it'll probably give me one. It'll do it. anything more expensive than that will likely overblow even easier because it will probably be set up. It'll be gapped closer. It'll be,
Liam,
intended for overblows.
I'm sorry, it was a bit of a delay when you played, so we didn't hear it, I think.
Oh, okay.
So can you play it again, please?
Yeah. So you've got 6 blow, and then you've got the overblow. So it'll do it.
Very nice. Your conversation with Konstantin Reinfeldt, we talk about it was my question, but for our audience, your opinion, GDR Terculus.
So my opinion of Konstantin.
Yes, about these models, harmonica. GDR Terculus.
Yeah, so Trochulus harmonica, we talked about it with Konstantin Reinfeldt because he, I think, played one of these. So have you played one of these, and what do you think about those?
Yeah, I've got a set of them. I got a set of them from JDR. They very kindly sent me a set, and I've got a YouTube video on the... I've only got the Richter tuning ones. I haven't tried the other tunings, and I know they're coming up with some new tunings at the moment as well. I got contacted by the guy at Bushman in the USA about some new versions of the Game Changer that they're doing.
Game Changer, yeah.
I am really excited by it because I think for me, harmonica players are very conservative. They're very scared of change. I don't know, there's something about the traditional nature of the instrument and its association with kind of old-fashioned folk music. I don't know, I think we're scared of different tunings, different ways of doing things. And I think when you look at the amount of people trying kind of these wacky and weird and wonderful harmonicas, it's quite small compared with the amount of people who play standard harmonicas. But what I love about the Trochulus is you can play it like a normal harmonica. If you get the Richter tuned harmonica, there's no notes different at all. But then suddenly you've got that button that gives you so many extra options. And I kind of feel like if you're used to a normal blues harmonica, but you want to try something ever so slightly different in terms of what the feel of it and the play of it, it's a great option to have because it opens up your chromaticism massively. And there are people out there who, like Pete Hoagie, who's a real convert to the Trochulus, and he's sounding great on it. And I've heard other people sounding really, really good on it. I think it's unlikely I would switch to playing them anytime soon, just because I am a little bit of a dinosaur, and I kind of play the way I do, and I play the instruments I do. But I think it's an amazing achievement because it's been tried before. Hohner tried it with a Koch harmonica, and they couldn't do it. It's a long time ago, but they did it really badly. So it's kind of cool that someone's come along and done it, and it's playable. I think it'll get better as well. I think with time it'll get better to play, and they'll improve. Have you tried them? Have you guys tried them?
Konstantin, microphone, please.
Yes. Щось додаш?
No. Liam is asking, have we tried those?
Окей, наступне запитання. Мене дуже цікавить таке питання.
Wait. I haven't tried myself.
Okay.
Konstantin tried.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Konstantin has some in, I think, Richter tuning and in other tunings. GDR.
Yes. GDR, да, blues tuning, blue.
Yeah.
Так. От це мене дуже цікавить, Андрій, і тебе повинно це цікавити. Як змінився підхід до викладання за роки існування каналу? І саме канал як змінився? На що Ліам орієнтується? На там відгуки підписників чи якийсь може хейт? І найголовніше, чи використовує він у своїй зараз діяльності штучний інтелект? Thank you.
Okay, very interesting question, I think. How has your approach to teaching changed over the years since the channel was created? Have subscribers, feedback, comments, etc., and especially the development of AI had an impact?
Yeah, great question. I mean, I think the main thing for me is I have relaxed into being myself, and I've pretty much left up all of my videos over the years. I think I've recorded over 800 YouTube videos. I've taken a few down because they were just kind of like they didn't need to be there anymore.
800!
Yeah,
800!
It's a lot. But most of them are still up there, and you can go and watch my oldest lessons, and they're so bad. They're terrible because I didn't know how to speak to people, and you're not even speaking to a person, you're speaking to a camera or a screen. At the time I was doing it on a laptop. I'm looking at a laptop, and I didn't know how to pretend that laptop was a person, you know. And so they're really bad. So I think I've got a bit better at kind of imagining I'm talking to a person, and obviously you do something 800 times, you would hope the 800th one is better than the first. But I think the main thing is I've relaxed into being myself, so I don't try and be anyone else anymore. I'm not trying to be Konstantin Reinfeldt. I'm not trying to be Jason Ritchie. I'm not trying to be Adam Gussow. I'm just being Liam Ward, and I am who I am, and there's good and bad about that. So these days I would say my videos are just more relaxed and honest, and I just do it the way I feel like doing instinctively. I don't have a step-by-step approach. And I also try, you asked about people's feedback. I try not to be swayed too much by what people say, because people, you can get the same video, someone will love it and someone will hate it. So you can't really follow what it is people want. I think you just have to do something that's true to you, that's honest, and hope that it reaches an audience that it can help. And luckily I seem to have, you know, found an audience of people who appreciate what I'm doing, you know, to some sort of extent.
Ліам із Ліам. Окей, дуже цікаве питання для мене. Маючи великі, навіть не так. Твоя серія інтерв'ю – це унікальний діалог з великими харперами. Magic Dick, Оскар, Джейсон Річі. Чи змінилося щось у твоєму власному звуку, коли ти спілкувався з цими харперами, різними, великими? Тобто, зрозуміло, ми з Андрієм якось це також повторюємо щось і теж хочемо взяти багато інтерв'ю. Це дуже корисно. Чи змінилось щось саме в тобі після розмов з цими великими харперами? Thank you.
Okay, beautiful question, I think, and there is a lot to say about this question. Your interview series is a unique dialogue with great harmonica players, so like Magic Dick, Lee Oscar, Jason Ritchie, other people, great harmonica players.
Crystal Burton, amazing.
Has anything changed in your own sound or approach to teach after these in-depth conversations?
Yeah, I love doing the interviews. For me, it's just a chance to meet and hang out with people I admire, my favourite players, people who've influenced the history of the harmonica, And I love that the harmonica community is open enough that you can reach out to these people. And sometimes I meet them in person, sometimes it's just online. But pretty much anyone out there who plays harmonica is happy to talk about it. You know, we're a strange bunch of people. And so I think we like to connect with each other and talk. And so it's been a real inspiration for me meeting a lot of those names you've mentioned. I think in terms of my playing or my teaching or my approach, I don't think I've specifically altered my playing by what I've, by these interviews, but I do think it's been a great chance for me to realise how these great players are just being themselves. So again, connected to my YouTube videos, I've kind of relaxed into being myself online. And I think maybe speaking to these people has given me more confidence, almost given me the permission to be me. Because every person I've spoken to, there are specific questions I will ask them, but there will also be questions that I will ask lots of people to do with how they got into the instrument, their inspirations, all of those things. And everyone's story is slightly different, and their path to where they're going or where they've got to is different. And so I think it's given me that confidence to say to myself, keep doing what it is you love, because I think as long as there is joy and love behind what you're doing, you will find people who appreciate it. No, there'll be lots of people who don't appreciate it, and that's fine, but there'll be some people who do. So yeah, I think it's as well as the experience of making more videos, meeting these people, I think has made me, just have a bit more confidence to do what I want to do and to keep doing it. It's also been kind of scary at times. Like, some of these players are amazing, and I'm excited and kind of nervous to meet some of these people because I've heard them on records, and they've been this big thing in my life, and then you're getting to chat to them. So it's an amazing privilege, and I'm glad to see your with your channel doing interviews, and there's lots of
Thank you very much. А яке найбільше запам'яталося, тобто найбільш круте, і з ким це було, і якщо можна сказати, яке було не дуже вдалим. Тому що ми з Андрієм знаємо наші мінуси. Можливо, Ліам з нами також розкаже нам про це.
Okay, a little question. What was the most beautiful, favorite your interview? And the other question is, what was least favorite from your side? There were
Maybe if you want.
Because we know that we did bad. So tell us what you experienced in terms of interview from your side, some mistakes.
Well, most of the time, people have been very kind and gracious and given up their time to discuss harmonica stuff with me. It's very rare that I've had a bad experience. There have been a couple where the person has not been happy with the final interview, and I've shown them before it's gone out and been released, and they haven't been happy with the way they've spoken or it's come across, and I've said, it's okay, we just won't put it out. So there's only been one or two of those over the years. But the most difficult situation that ended up not being, we didn't even do the interview in the end, was there's a British harmonica player, Giles Robson, who got some of the Americans over. He got Magic Dick over to the UK, and he got, who else did we have? I think it might have been Billy Branch and James Harmon. Can't remember if it was Billy Branch, might not be, but James Harmon. And Magic Dick, that was the night I interviewed Magic Dick. James Harmon was supposed to do an interview. He'd agreed to do an interview with me, and then I think he got in a little bit of a bad mood. It was just after Donald Trump had became president the first time. And I just said to James Harmon, something like, what do you, we were all having drinks. This isn't the interview. We're all just sitting having drinks. It was at I think it was at the airport hotel, Heathrow Airport Hotel or something. And we're all just chatting. And I said, oh, what do you think of your new president? I didn't say anything positive or negative, and I wasn't trying to make a political point. I just asked him. I just said, what, you know. And he then ranted. He ranted about, oh, you're all communists or something. I don't know. I don't know where, I hadn't even said anything, you know. But it was my mistake for even asking. And that was then, he wasn't going to do an interview with me. So the only thing that you can ever see of James Harmon on my channel is during the Magic Dick interview, in the background, you actually hear James Harmon shout something. He shouts something to Magic Dick, like, oh, that's all bullshit, or something like that. And that's the only thing. But for me, that was kind of sad, because he was one of my heroes, you know, and it was one of those meet your heroes moments. He was one of the first blues harmonica players I ever heard on record. I got his album Extra Napkins, and I loved it. And then to meet him, and I obviously upset him and whatever. And I think he was famously, you know, moody. And he died not long after. So that was it. God rest his soul, you know. Great player and great performer, but it didn't go well. Apart from that, almost all of the interviews have been great. And it's hard to pick anyone, because they've all been so kind and, you know, gone above and beyond. Like Grant Dermody, for example. I love Grant's playing. After the interview, he sent me a load of CDs, and it's like he'd already given up his time to chat with me, and then there he is sending me these CDs as a thank you, as if I've done him a favour, which I haven't, you know. And he's someone I'd heard on records. I'd heard him playing with Eric Bibb and loved his playing. And then to get to chat with him and him be so open. Mickey Raphael, you know, he's toured with Willie Dixon for 50 years, and he was so modest. Charlie McCoy, on tens of thousands of records, and I sat with him in a basement in London, and he was so open and honest and willing to sit there. He did an interview with the BBC for BBC TV before he came and spoke to me. So when I arrived, the BBC were interviewing him, and then he came into this back room and chatted with me, and he treated it the same way. You know, little old me with my YouTube channel, he treated it the same way he did the BBC interview that would go out to millions of people, you know. But I think there's something about the harmonica community. There aren't that many egos, because no one's famous. You know, you get past Bob Dylan, Neil Young, Stevie Wonder, there aren't really many famous harmonica players, so people don't have the ego of celebrities.
Are you planning interview with Indiara?
Indiara's fair.
Yeah, I messaged her, and we had a little exchange, because I did, when Hona relaunched the Golden Melody, I did the online launch from Germany with Gerhard, and she did a bit for the launch, and I said to her, I've got to get you on the channel. I haven't been doing many interviews recently. Again, it's just time. It's finding the time to do them. But I'd love to speak to her. She's a great player, and she's kind of mysterious. You know, you see these videos out there, but I don't know much about her. I haven't seen many interviews with her. I've just seen her videos. So I'd love to chat to her and learn more about her life. I've just recently done an interview with, there's a harmonica player in the UK called Judd Lander, who's played on various things. But one of the big ones was he played the harmonica solo on Karma Chameleon by Culture Club. Big famous song and a famous harmonica part. So I've just recorded a lesson that's going out soon about that song. But I also interviewed Judd. We did it via Zoom, but he only lives a few hours away in London. And he's a lovely guy, again, very humble and a good laugh. He's from Liverpool, which is also in the northwest of England, so we're kind of from a similar area. but I'm going to put something in the lesson from the interview, and I'm also going to put something of the interview on the website as a separate thing. So keep an eye out for that, because that'll be soon, and that's the latest one I did. I've got a long list of people I'd love to speak to. It's just making it happen.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I think that our harmonica community overall, people treat each other people like themselves. Of course, they treat themselves the good way. And you have a nice T-shirt, by the way, for everybody. It's World Harmonica Festival 2000.
Yeah, this is the 2025. Yeah, last year. So I played
nice.
there last year. An amazing experience. I've been to Trossingen before because I went for the Golden Melody launch, but so it's my second time there, but first time at the festival. And a great honour to be asked. You know, it's only every 4 years. It's like the World Cup or the Olympics, you know. It's only every 4 years.
Cool. Питання про навчання. Все ж воно не дає мені спокою. Як ти бачиш майбутнє онлайн-навчання, скажімо, найближчі 5, ну навіть не 10, навіть 5 років. І це питання, Андрій, ти знаєш, ми завжди задаємо про нішовість гармоніки. Чи є розуміння, як зробити гармоніку більш популярною? Тому що вона дуже популярна, здається, але не дивлячись на це, як інструмент, як іграшка, але вона не дуже популярна як музичний інструмент, тобто як його популяризувати. Але мені більше цікавить, як Ліам бачить майбутнє онлайн-навчання гармоніки через 5 років. Мається на увазі, тобто розвиток штучного інтелекту, розвиток технологій, чи все це буде впливати на розвиток навчання. Ну і, звісно, про нішовість запитай, будь ласка.
Про нішовість, це як звучить питання, ще раз, як воно починається?
Про нішовість звучить так, що не дивлячись на те, що гармоніка популярний інструмент, як іграшка, тобто гармонік в світі найбільше продається, але вона не дуже, вона все одно з'являється таким нішовим інструментом, розумієш? І що можна зробити, щоб наш улюблений інструмент став більш популярним? І чи треба це взагалі?
Okay, so 2 interesting questions. First one I would ask about the harmonica itself. It's very niche instrument, very not very popular, I would say. What do we need to do right now to popularize it? So, we know that actually Indiara did a video of her improvisation harmonica in C minor she played, and a lot of people not from the harmonica community, they liked it, but right now we can see that people, it seems they like when somebody has harmonica in their mouth and someone hit this person, and it's very funny. But how to make it serious in terms of instrument, not just toy?
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't think I have all the solutions, but I do think that it has to be a multi-pronged approach. So I don't think one thing is going to solve this problem. I think that we need more respect for the harmonica in a formal musical setting. Now, I didn't learn in a formal setting, and I don't think that way. I think in a more practical setting. But if the harmonica was included in more exams, if it was accepted at more schools, if it was embraced by the traditional academic side of music, then it would help. But I think also there is a responsibility amongst players to keep going, to keep grinding away, to keep forging a path for the instrument. We've been lucky enough or unlucky enough to find this instrument, and we now have the responsibility of being the torch bearers for the instrument, whether we like it or not. And I think the history of music, but also of culture, is that any aspect of culture can have good days or good eras, and then dark eras where it's ignored, where it isn't respected. And it's only through the determination of people who keep going, that aspect of culture has survived. So I think we have that responsibility. We also have a responsibility to embrace change, and that's why I think things like the Troculus and other tunings are a great thing. And I hope that the younger players who see videos about the Troculus, see Brendan Power playing crazy tunings, you know, that no one else could have thought of, see even things like a MIDI harmonica. I don't know, it's probably not a thing I'm going to get into, but it might be.
MIDI harmonica has a future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we have a responsibility to embrace those changes, because if we're so stuck in our ways, that, you know, it's taken 50 years of Howard Levy banging his head against a brick wall for the harmonica community to accept overblowing as an acceptable thing, because for many years people said, well, Little Walter didn't do it as far as we know, so I'm not going to do it, which is a crazy way to think. Even if he was the best player ever, or a genius, or whatever you want to call him, it's crazy to look back and say, well, they didn't do it, so I'm not going to do it, you know? I'm quietly hopeful. I think there are lots of young players out there who are going to do things a different way, who are going to do things we can't even imagine. And I think you have to be hopeful, because the alternative is just sitting crying about it.
А в Британії також немає академічної школи гармоніки, да, Андрій? В світі, мені здається...
I think no. So, is there like academical school, like in university, I don't know, like in conservatory, harmonica
Academic school, yeah.
in Britain?
No, there isn't really a harmonica specific one. So I know that Philip Achille studied harmonica at a music school in London, I believe, and did really well. And Ben Hewlett and others, I can't remember who else he works with. Ben Hewlett used to be involved with the National Harmonica League, now Harmonica UK, and he has been for many years trying to take harmonica into schools, into primary schools, young children, and trying to get it accepted. And he's had a lot of resistance, because it's not seen as a sort of real thing. And he's tried different types of harmonicas, and harmonicas specifically made for young children, so they're easier to play, bigger holes and all that kind of thing. So to be fair, he's been working hard for many years, and I know he did have a rock school thing, that was working with educational establishments to try and get harmonica into schools more. I think it's starting to change. I do think that these worlds, these old-fashioned musical worlds, are starting to understand that they, like the harmonica community itself, that they have to change and adapt. So I think it might start, being more mainstream soon. But at the moment, it's still very niche, and still very a certain demographic of people playing harmonica. It tends to be people of a certain age, and usually men as well, which I hope changes, because why should it just be old men playing? I would say, I haven't checked the statistics recently, but I know my YouTube channel, a lot of the people watching my videos are my demographic. They're my age, which is not, I'm in my late 30s, but it's not retired people, it's people my age. And I think people relate to someone who looks and sounds like them. So hopefully if we get some teenagers starting to put up new YouTube videos, maybe that'll encourage other teenagers to play the harmonica.
Yes, harmonica is like for everybody. For each age.
Beatbox for teenager in harmonica.
Yeah.
Андрій, ти хотів запитати щось Ліама про як щось зробити. Коротеньке запитання від мене. Do you have a favorite position in harmonica?
I love third position.
Third.
I just love the sort of expression of it. I mean, I've always loved minor keys. I've always loved the minor scale. I love kind of the richness and the darkness of it. So something about that has always appealed to me. Maybe I've got a dark soul. I don't know. But I love the third position gives easy access to those notes, and they're so expressive. I mean, I feel like it's hard to dislike that sort of. I tend to play first, second, third, a bit of 12th, maybe a bit of 4th position, but it's not like I'm playing wacky positions a lot, really. And second position would be my default for blues. I've started playing more Irish music recently. I'm not gigging Irish music, but I'm going to a lot of Irish sessions, so pub get-togethers, pub jams, and playing a lot of Irish stuff, and a lot of that's in first position because it makes sense. But then they play a lot in the modes as well. So they play Dorian mode, which, you know, third position, you've got it. So I'm playing the usual positions, but I do have a soft spot for third. And 12th. 12th is great for the opposite reason that it lends itself so well to a bright, positive sounding sort of thing, you know, so. Just by changing that tonal center, it's a different world that you're entering.
Thank you very much. Друзі, у нас продовжується челендж, до речі, про третю позицію. Андрій, ось завітає Ліама до нас на челендж. Будь ласка, твоє запитання, тому що вже час. Ну і якщо ласка Ліама, попроси його щось зіграти під кінець нашого інтерв'ю.
Alright. So thank you for that. We have challenge in our community right now that is about third position, just playing in third position, anything. So and you just told people play third position, and I tell people play third position. So yeah. Okay, next question is from myself. Very interesting one. So on your second channel, Liam Word Music, I saw you playing the harmonica without using your hands. Can you teach me right now how to do it and give me some tips on how to learn this technique? Because I never seen anybody teach this one.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever taught it, to be honest. It's a great little trick to have, though. Definitely. So the way I do it, I mean, I've seen Sonny Boy Williamson II, so I've seen Rice Miller do it quite kind of straight in like that. The way I do it, and I hope you can see, is I'm placing the harmonica in its normal position. So, you know, I've got the low notes on the left, high notes on the right. I'm placing it inside my left cheek. So it's going in like that at an angle. And then what I'm doing is kind of keeping it in place. I keep it in place with my tongue out of that left-hand side. That's also, along with my cheek muscles, that's going to be how I move it in order to get the different notes. Now, I'm probably going to completely I haven't done this for a while. I'm probably going to completely mess it up. But the first thing is to to get that shape and work on a single note. So your four blow. So I'm essentially taking a tongue blocked four blow, and I'm shifting that to inside my mouth. So.
Cool.
So it's the same technique, it's just that the harmonica, instead of my hand holding it in place, it's the inside of my mouth, it's that cheek holding it in place. So, and then it takes a bit of getting used to, slow practice, but I'll then use my tongue to try and shove it a bit further in so I can access the five blow, for example. So, and then, of course, if you combine your blow and draw notes, you can start to build. I only really play little simple melodies in the middle of the harmonica, so I can get from hole 3 to 5, maybe 6, maybe 7, but you go too far that way, you spit the harmonica out, and then there's only so far that way you can go because there's only so big your mouth is. But you can get things like When the Saints Go Marching In, you know. Stuck note. There we go.
When the Saints, yeah, okay.
So you can
Cool,
do things in the
cool.
middle.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then you
Louis Armstrong plays
you
too.
gotta do this. And I genuinely have noticed actually that the harmonicas. So I tend to do it as there's like certain songs with the different bands I play with. There'll be a certain song where I'll do it. It might be the last song of the night, or just a song where I think it'll be easy to get away with it. Because, you know, if it's some complicated thing with loads of chord changes, there's no point. The harmonicas that I do this with, the screws, they genuinely rust so much quicker than the other ones. So I've had it where I can't take the screws out anymore because they've rusted away so much because of the moisture. So, you know, I mean, that was when I was gigging almost every night. But even just for 1 minute every night, all of that moisture's getting in there. So they do need to be cleaned. I'll have to, you know, maybe I'll do a YouTube lesson on it. I'll think more about how I do it and my approach.
Because
Send me a video. If you manage to do it, send me a little video.
Because I've seen you do it on your second channel, and in the higher register I've seen, so I was like confused. Well, this is hard.
I mean, I was probably playing a higher key harmonica, but I can't really get. I can just about get hole 7, but I can't go above that because there's not enough room in my mouth, you know. So it was probably a higher harmonica, but I can do. You know, I do a bit of. I might do some second position stuff where I sometimes, if I can get down to hole 3 and up to hole 6, you've got a whole octave, so it can sound like you've got quite a big range, even though you're only doing holes 3, 4, 5, and 6. I mean, I'll probably mess it up now, but. So it kind of sounds like you've got a relatively big range, but it's only 4 holes. It's also worth working on getting those double stops, because it's kind of cool to be able to vary single notes and double stops.
I'm bad.
You're already doing it. You've just got to get that accuracy with it's like when you're you've got to imagine you're a complete beginner again. And you're a hands-free beginner, you know, sort of mouth harmonica beginner. So you've got, as a beginner, when you're learning, if you were learning to play single notes as a complete beginner, you're working on that, and it might sound like this. You've got to do that, but in your mouth. So you've got to be there going. Making those micro adjustments, slight movements.
So
of the
you
tongue,
are-
slight movements of the lips. You know.
You're putting the tongue on the left side of the harmonica, on the right, or on the right?
On the left side. So I am. It is just an internalized version of my normal tongue block. So my normal tongue block shape would be, if I'm playing hole 4, my tongue's blocking 1, 2, and 3, and it's the same. It's the same inside my mouth. It's just that my hands aren't doing anything. It's just the cheek holding it in place. I mean, it's awkward, and it's harder. A little bit like rack playing, you know, using a harmonica holder. It's harder to get the tone you want, and it's harder to get it to sound juicy and smooth. But, you know, it can be done. Probably, if there's someone out there spending hours each day working on it, they'll probably get to the point where they can get it to sound amazing. Like the best rack players sound like they're playing, holding the harmonica, you know, the best players out there.
Guitar, one harmonica cheek, two harmonica holder, and so. Thank you very much. Андрій, будь ласка, тема для челенджу, тому що да, вже час, і все ж таки, якщо можливо є настрій в Ліама, зіграти свою якусь улюблену композицію.
Liam, how much time do we have left for this conversation?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how long your interviews usually are.
We finish, Андрій, ну давай, ну я прошу тебе, давай.
But, I mean, we have some questions from viewers that
Okay.
actual viewers, so maybe let's try ask them quickly. So let me ask this in Ukrainian then. Це питання про другий отвір і третій отвір. Тобто питання звучить так: другий вдих чи другий видих, чи є ті ситуації, коли оцей другий варіант використовується вами справді, тобто коли ви його використовуєте власне свідомо. Тобто це одна і та сама нота, тобто на гармоніці другий вдих і другий видих. Okay, so this question is about 2 draw or 3 blow. Is there any cases you use the odd one intentionally? I think you made a video on this one. So can you share with us briefly?
Yeah, I did do a YouTube video on this recently, actually. So I think my default, my natural choice would be the 2 draw, just because I've got more options for textural addition. So instead of just, I might want to play vibrato, or I might want to bend in or out of the note. Or so 2 draw would be my usual, but there's definitely times when I use the 3 blow. It's usually to do with breath control, so there might be times when or breath direction, when it makes sense to go to that 3 blow, because then I'm gonna have to play loads of draw notes, so I've just had to play loads of draw notes, so it might make sense for me to go down to that. And one of the things I work on sometimes is trying to get something close to a vibrato on that 3 blow. Carlos Del Junco's good at this. You can get a subtle vibrato. Where it will dip ever so slightly, but it's never going to go. Unless you've got a valved harmonica maybe. But so yeah, there are times, but it's tactical choices. You know, I think it's not an ideological thing. The question is always whatever works. And that applies not just to this, but anything in music. Don't get attached to a technique or a way of doing things just because someone else says to, or because you feel you should. Just do whatever works, and then you will forge your own path.
It was throughout твій брат, yeah? Скористаємося добротою Ліама. Таке запитання коротеньке. Коли вже є мінімальна база бенди, одиночні ноти, як прогресувати далі? Які потрібно далі наступні кроки робити?
Okay, short question. Thank you for your time. Once you have the basics down, so like bends, single notes, basic techniques, etc., how do you progress? What are the next steps?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I think that I'll start actually by I know you said once you've got the basics down, but I'll try and give you a sense of what I think is the pathway from beginner to an advanced player for harmonica players. So I think as a beginner, the first thing, the most important thing, is getting comfortable with holding the harmonica and breathing through it. Because the best players out there, the most experienced players, they look natural with the instrument because they are comfortable with it. It's not by accident that they happen to look so relaxed. It's because they've had so many hours playing the thing. So as a beginner, the most important thing is stick it in your gob, play as much as possible, try to get a sense of rhythm and feel in your playing, as well as, of course, single notes. Simple scales are a great way to give a context to music, and maybe a little bit of sort of hand effects. Playing songs, play songs you love, because you're going to be far more motivated to keep playing if you enjoy them. When it gets to being an intermediate player, I think one thing that's really important is thinking about tone. The tone of the note you're producing, the timbre of the note you're producing, is it fat? Is it thin? Is it warm? Is it harsh? Again, don't be ideological about it. There's no right or wrong with these things. Harmonica players are obsessed with a fat tone. Now, I love a big fat tone, but there are times when you might want to sound thin. It's entirely up to you. Again, forge your own path, but most importantly, think about these things. Be aware of these things. Challenge yourself to change the tone with which you're playing, and keep it in your consciousness. You've got the foundations of playing. It's now a case of starting to move towards building your own sound when you're playing. In terms of techniques as an intermediate player, bends, of course. Don't neglect timing. Those simple rhythmic exercises are still important as an intermediate player. You can get sidetracked sometimes and forget that those basic things are important. Also, your scales. Scales are a safe space in which to practice rhythm, vibrato, tone. They're a great way to get into a musical zone or a musical, I mentioned with positions earlier, the different feels that positions have. Every scale has a different feel. So you're able to explore different territory. It's like being an explorer out going up a mountain or down into a cave. Each scale is a different terrain. So keep practicing those. And as your playing develops, play along to as much as possible. Stick the radio on, stick your favorite songs on, get Spotify on, and force yourself to play along to things, even if it's in a key or a position you're not usually used to. And then as you become an advanced player, again, don't neglect those scales. Maybe you might look into overblows if you want to become chromaticized in your playing, but again, don't feel you have to. Don't do it because someone says you should. at this point, when you're becoming an intermediate to advanced player, it can be useful also to look away from your instrument, listen to other instruments, maybe even learn another instrument, because it might change the way you think about the harmonica. And I know a lot of the players I've spoken to, my favourite players and some of the best players, it's kind of a common thread, I think, that they start seeking out lessons from teachers of other instruments, because they understand what the harmonica can do, and they want to learn how they can actually start shaping their own sound by introducing aspects of what other instruments do, or just a different shift their mindset, a different way of thinking about things. And in terms of when you're becoming an advanced player, you should really know by that point exactly what you need to know, what you need to work on in terms of your technique, because you wouldn't have got to where you're getting to if you didn't have that sense of direction by that point.
Tone depends on breathing.
Yeah, it's also
Tone,
a very personal thing, you know. Everyone's going to sound slightly different because we're all made differently. No one has the exact same body and physiology.
I mean, for good tone, you have to like lower your jaw and make this like voice, big voice. Maybe it helps.
Yeah, for a big sound, you tend to get harmonicas further into your mouth and your jaw's lower, so you can see the difference physically and you can hear it as it changes. So if I go from kind of a distant sort of pucker to a deeper shape, you can hear it. And it's far more efficient. It's easier once you've got the shape, and it's usually to do with getting the mouth narrow enough, because when you go further in, you tend to get that. So, but once you've learnt that shape, it's easier than trying to play like this, where you're having to strain like mad. It's much easier with it further in your mouth.
Горлові брати, бачиш, як зв'язки працюють. Так що, Сергію, привіт, все працює. Дуже добре.
Yeah. So Konstantin admitted that your voice, like muscles, work very good when you do the throat vibrato. So, because we have a debate with one teacher, somebody has, in terms of the getting the sound from the harmonica. So it is not the right term is not breathing, but it's getting the sound as we speak, because what really happens is we not breathe as normal, but we actually like talk through harmonica in terms of this. So
yes, I think the harmonica is incredibly close to the human voice. You know, it's so emotive, and we can get such expression out of the instrument. And I think because a lot of the notes will move and bend, it feels very
like
close to the human voice.
Super.
Yeah. And in terms of how you learn, it's very important, because if you started with this narrow embouchure, your bends will be narrow, and it will be the same like routine, the same way, and it will be very hard to change. For me, it's very hard to sometimes like do good bends, because I'm used to some very narrow bends. It's hard to change it.
And a lot of the words, certainly in English, the terms, the words we use are really confusing and misleading. So both pucker and lip purse, they both suggest kind of a like that, when really any decent harmonica player is more like that. But we keep saying pucker and we keep saying lip purse, which a pucker is like that. If you do that, you can suck all day, you're not going to get any sound, you know? So I think we could almost do with inventing some new words. I don't know what the word would be.
We have a good word in Ukraine. We use lip blocking. It's called.
Yeah.
That's what we use, and we just write LB or TB, tongue blocking, lip blocking, or U blocking.
It's good.
It's very easy.
Good. Yeah.
So maybe you can use it.
Yeah.
Of course you can. Okay.
Окей. Ну що, на всі запитання ми відповіли. Андрій, ну прошу тебе, запитай про челендж і...
Okay. So we have a bunch of questions to you left, but we appreciate your time, so we're gonna end this one. So we have, but let me ask another one short question first. Should chromatic players also learn diatonic harmonica? What do you think?
I think there will always be benefits to learning either another instrument or a kind of another version of your instrument, a cousin to your instrument or a sibling to your instrument. So yeah, I mean, it depends on time. If you've got very limited time, you know, you don't have the time to do it. But if you really want to expand your playing, and the other way around, like I'm a diatonic player, I know I would benefit from learning more chromatic. It's just time, you know. If we had infinite time,
do you play chromatic harmonica?
a little.
A little.
So with my gigs, I might do one song on chromatic in a night, and I'm not really. I can do like okay kind of third position minor blues stuff, and then I've done various things over the years where I've learnt things note for note. So like with the jug band, we played some jazz tunes that we were taking arrangements that were on various other instruments, and I kind of had to work them out, and I worked out arrangements for the chromatic, and I kind of just played them note for note. So it was really just a memorization rather than being a particularly impressive or creative thing. I haven't picked one up for a while. I just love the diatonic. I feel like there's always more to learn.
Андрій, скажи, будь ласка, Ліаму, що в нього дуже класний стиль, коли він виступає з групою. Дуже мені подобається. Це класно виглядає.
Yeah, Konstantin says to you that when you perform with your band, you have very beautiful and wonderful, unique style. It looks fantastic.
Clothes and others. It's interesting. Super.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, I just, you know, like we all do, I'm sure, I love music. For me, music is incredibly important in our culture, and every culture ever known has used music as a bonding thing, as a shamanistic thing, as a spiritual thing. And for me, music is all of those things, and it to get to play music for people, even as you mentioned someone who sort of saw me play and there weren't many people there, even if there's just a handful of people at a gig, for me it's an honor and a privilege to be able to play for them, and I genuinely mean that. And so I hope that comes out in my, you know, my performance. I just love music, and I hope that we keep appreciating it and sharing it with each other.
In our channel we have a slogan, play harmonica. Harmonica makes the world better.
Yeah, I agree.
Happy and better, yeah, of course. Thank you very much.
Okay.
It was very interesting, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So,
thanks for having me. It's an absolute pleasure.
We have a little last routine question for our community. So we do challenges, as you understand. Like we have a Telegram group and a Messenger where a lot of harmonica players from our country gather, and we have like a section of challenges. So we do weekly challenges in terms of like limiting your instruments, playing in certain positions, or playing different styles of music. So, for example, we did train songs, reggae challenge, rumba challenge. So we did Beatles songs, country songs, so different stuff. We played in some positions, very interesting stuff. But what can you suggest for us for a weekly challenge? So it will be titled Challenge from Liam Ward.
Ooh. Have you done one where people have to play over one chord, so it's all to do with their phrasing? So no chord changes. It could be any groove, but there's if you get on YouTube, there's loads of like one chord grooves. It could be like a drone note, like an Indian style, Asian style drone note, or it could be like a blues, one chord blues track, like a John Lee Hooker sort of but you're playing along to something where the chord never changes, so you haven't got that progression to different chords to signal what notes you choose. It has to all be down to the variety in your phrasing. And you mentioned, the reason I think of this is you mentioned like restrictions or challenges to force you out of your box, and picking something really simple like that is a great way to force you to try out different rhythms, different combinations of notes, because you'll notice you're playing, there'll be certain licks you'll play over and over, or certain sets of notes you'll play over and over. So it's a great way of sort of switching your...
It's interesting. One chord and phrasing. Oh,
yeah,
very cool.
chord, so the one chord challenge, basically.
Super.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Liam, if you have a free minute, play us something cool, a little.
From your heart, what you love.
Let me. I'll tell you what. I've been playing some Irish music today, so I'll probably completely mess this up because it's not really my thing. But I'll try and play you a little jig called the Connachtman's Rambles. Sticky reeds. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Liam.
You're welcome.
This is so beautiful. This is so
Brandon
beautiful.
Powell will appreciate it. Okay.
For sure.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time, for our conversation, for your answers.
It's an absolute pleasure. How did you get on with Adam? Did you have a good chat?
Yes.
He was very happy to see us. He was very supportive in terms of our situation in our country, and he mentioned his roots, his ancestors were from one of our cities, and he played a lot of music in our interview, and he was very happy.
Yeah.
So,
He looked
Welcome to our channel.
yeah.
Show interview with Adam. Yeah.
I'll have to check out your other interviews. I watched a bit with Konstantin Reinfeldt. I saw that you interviewed Brendan Power as well.
Oh, thank you very much.
He's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, but Adam, I got to meet Adam in Edinburgh, and I got to play on the streets with Adam and Christelle. There's a video on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah. I saw this video.
And that was
Very
like
nice.
That was a dream come true for me because they were the first two I saw on YouTube. He's a great guy.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Listen, you guys, look after yourselves. I'm glad we managed to do this. I'm glad the internet worked, and I hope we meet someday. At some kind of
I have
harmonica
also a question I have after the recording stops for you.
Okay, cool.
But once,
Thank you.
because of you.
Thank you, Liam.
Thank you.
Thank you.